Hi guys, welcome to my Love and Grace with Laurie. I feel like today's topic could literally be any day in your life, in my life, because life is hard. Have you ever felt discouraged or defeated in your life? Maybe you're walking through something right now that's just thrown you for a loop. It's a circumstance you didn't see coming. I remember walking through a situation that absolutely devastated my family. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't feel very strong. It can be confusing. It can be disappointing. I know I felt incredibly disheartened and so discouraged and just defeated in the fact that everything I thought to be true for so many years proved to be the opposite. And some people really had let us down, and that's a hard transition. And there's been other times in my life, after having 2 miscarriages, you can wonder in loss, like, how do I even move forward? And so I kind of want to talk about today that when the trials of life can leave us frustrated or disappointed, discouraged or defeated, there's a couple of things we can do. I'm sure there's more than that, but I'm only going to talk about 2 today. They're very practical, they're very doable, or for some, they might be really, really difficult, but I believe they are worth it. And I found that they have helped me to walk through hard times and encourage me to keep moving forward. It didn't fix my problems, but I believe it helped me in the midst of my problems. In the Bible, it says in Joshua 1, 9 through 11, "Have I not commanded you?" And you know what the next words are. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And then in verse 10 it says, "So Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your provisions ready. 3 days from now, we're going to cross the Jordan here to go and take possession of the land that the Lord your God is giving you for your own." It doesn't say feel strong and courageous. It says be strong and courageous. And the word be, there's some synonyms for that really are great. It is to act, to move, to live, persist, remain, stand, do. So be strong and courageous is action. It's not a feeling. For me, it's like, Laurie, act in strength, act in courage, even though you don't feel it. So he's telling us, act this way, even if you don't feel it. And he was telling the people, take possession of winning, of the victory over the defeat, over the discouragement. He's saying, take action over these things. In Deuteronomy 31:8, similar verse says, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Do not be afraid or discouraged." And I think sometimes we don't feel God with us, or maybe we don't believe he's with us because we can't feel him. And honestly, sometimes it's because we've turned more to our feelings where we're not acknowledging him. But other times our grief is just so strong that we feel that more than we feel him. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. We just carry really heavy grief. I think in this situation, faith precedes reality. When we act in faith, impossibilities can become possible. And so, what does courage look like? What does strength look like in impossible situations? So this is one thing we can do. It's practice gratitude. Be grateful. You guys have heard this before. You guys know this one. But are you doing it? Am I doing it? No, I haven't always done it. Sometimes I'm better than others, and I'm working on it, and I have a routine in my day right now, in my life, which is helping me greatly. So it may sound small, but there can be big rewards and consistency in practicing it. I love this quote by Britt Morin. She says, "Even in the chaos of everyday life, moments of gratitude remind us to hold on to the good things. And I know for me, I realized whenever I was going through that really hard time, it was really easy for me to think about all the bad things, all the discouragement and disheartenment. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe they did this. But gratitude reminded me of the good things to hold on to. It hasn't been an easy effort, and it has been an effort on my part, but totally worth the practice. And when I started focusing on gratitude, on where's the good things in this, like where do I find the good, then I started seeing what God was actually doing, how he was working on my family's behalf, how we didn't walk away empty-handed, but we were blessed, and how, like, what it taught me. Like, I started seeing the good things when I focused on gratitude, seeing the good things. So that kind of shows where our attention is kind of where our feelings are going to be. If we're led by our feelings, sometimes we're led to be devastated, discouraged, defeated. But if we lead in action that's good and healthy for us, in gratitude, it can lead us to overcome the feelings. There's a lot of studies been done on gratitude. Positive psychology has a list of actually 28 benefits of practicing gratitude, and I am not going to go through 28 things with you, but I do want to mention a few of them because they're so powerful, you guys. People are happier when they practice gratitude. That makes sense because you're focusing on the positive and good, right? It has a strong positive impact on their well-being, self-esteem, and even on depression. It reduces the negative emotions like envy and makes people more resilient when they do walk through hard times. It helps us feel better about our circumstances, which leads us to feel better about ourselves. The social benefits, it improves the quality of relationships because people are more fun to be around when they're grateful and happy. It can help you out of a funk. There's reduced materialism because when you're appreciating what you already have, you're not chasing after or fixated on getting more stuff. And it just improves your overall health. That was a few things that this study has shown. Can you imagine just in that list, practicing gratitude, what it can do for your life? So we seriously go through some really rough stuff. And so I kind of want to share a little story of something that I learned and heard from a group that I led for a few years. I led Grief Share, which is a grief support group for loss of loved ones. And it's a wonderful support group created by experts in the field, counselors and therapists, and also people who have their personal experience with grief. But there was a lady on one of the videos that really stuck with me on this topic. And so she was a lady who lost both of her parents. And so she was obviously heartbroken with grief. And she was telling us a story on the video that God had asked something of her. He had asked her to be grateful. And her immediate response was, what on earth do I have to be grateful for? I just lost both my parents. And honestly, as she was telling the story on the video, I kind of thought the same things when she said, you know, God asked me or told me to be grateful. I was thinking, oh my goodness, how could he ask such a thing? You just lost both your parents. Like, that's what I thought. That's how I felt. And that is certainly how she felt. She was like, how can you ask me that? What on earth do I have to be grateful for? And like, don't you see, I just lost my parents. She couldn't see anything. And God said, like, I'm just kind of summarizing this. I'm sure I'm not quoting this, perfectly. Well, are you grateful that you had these parents? And she's like, well, yeah, of course I am. And then he was like, Well, are you grateful for the moments and the memories and the blessings that you had through these parents? Well, of course I am. Of course. Are you grateful for what they taught you and what you learned for them and how they raised you? Well, of course I am. And that right there, I'm sure it didn't just take her grief away in some magical way, but it lifted the grief a little bit. It gave her a new perspective. It gave her a new hope. It gave her a new focus. And it just greatly helped her to have that different perspective. I'm not saying this is remotely easy, but I do believe practicing gratitude has some great benefits and the potential to help us in life and on our healing journey. So being grateful is a powerful weapon against life's discouragement. It's one way we can live out our strength and our courage is to choose gratitude. Guys, it is the number one habit, one that they all convene on. Highly successful people do. They put a routine in their life that is to practice gratitude. Inc.com says highly successful people do this to achieve more, to be happy, and to make a difference. They consciously practice gratitude. So it has so many benefits. If you find yourself in a battle right now, the second practical way to overcome is through worshiping God. You might go, Laurie, I do that every Sunday when I go to church. They play a song, I raise my hands, I'm worshiping God. But Sundays are not the personal time that you come to God and worship. That's great if you do that. And that's great to gather with other believers and to encourage each other in that. But what are you doing in your personal life or in your day-to-day routines? And there was one day when I was feeling really frustrated by a relationship. This person seemed to be completely inconsiderate in their comment to me, and it made me feel like this big. I was really dreading coming face to face with them because we were getting ready to get together. And as I drove to meet them, I was so angry and frustrated. I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they're treating me this way. I was just really, really frustrated about it. And then halfway there, I was so angry and frustrated. I was done with it. I was I don't know what to do. This is frustrating me. It's probably going to ruin my whole day, but I don't want it to ruin my whole day. I want to go there and enjoy my time. I don't even want it to enjoy my time there. And so I turned on the radio. I turned up a worship song, worship music. And as I was driving the rest of the halfway there, I raised my hands and I started singing and I started worshiping God. And I just turned off all the negative thinking, all the complaining that I was doing, and all the frustration. And I worshiped the other half the way there. When I got there, my attitude was great. I was happy. I was fine. And as it turned out, going in to meet this person, they ended up complaining and griping. They weren't so happy, but inside, I was good. I was calm. I was content. It didn't ruin my day, and it didn't even ruin the moment or this meeting. Worship went ahead of me and totally intervened in my day, in this meeting, and it didn't ruin me. It didn't destroy me. In 2 Chronicles 20, verses 21 and 22, is a time where these people are headed out to battle. These people of God are headed out to battle, and one of the things that they do, intentionally do, is before they send their soldiers ahead, they send worshipers. It says, after consulting the people, the king appointed singers to walk ahead of the army, singing to the Lord and praising him for his holy splendor. So they're walking out of the army. They're praising God for who he is, praising God for what he's already done and who he is. And they're singing, "Give thanks to the Lord, his faithful love endures forever." And guess what? As they march ahead of the army, they're singing and worshiping God. At that very moment, in verse 22, it says, they begin to sing and give praise. The Lord caused the armies of the enemies to start fighting among themselves. Oh my goodness, worship is a big deal. It may sound weird to you if you've never done it in your own home and you only go to church and do it. But if you have some time or moment where you can put on headphones, or while you're showering in the morning, or get up where you could put on YouTube, a worship song or radio or off your phone, get up and spend like one song in worship to God. It's a great way to start your day. So if you've been feeling defeated by life, discouraged in your circumstance, or you're going to meet somebody who has been inconsiderate and you're frustrated, throw on some worship music. Turn it up in your car as you're driving to work. I don't know what it is. Show up and be grateful. Show up by worshiping. It can greatly improve your day, your outlook, your perspective. With times when I have done it, my situation may or may have not gotten better, but I have more peace and joy, contentment. I'm more hopeful and calm and just plain happier. And I'm also more focused on good things and recognize the blessings in my life. Currently, I have a worship routine at the beginning of my day. That's just what works for me. I don't want to miss it. And if I don't do it first, I might not have time. I might forget it, or something else might pop up. And currently, I have a nightly gratitude routine to end my day, just to think through the things to be grateful for. And there might be where I share kind of more in depth exactly what I do and what that looks like. But for right now, you need to find what works for you. I would love to hear about your gratitude or worship routine and what that's done for you in your life. Feel free to share that in the comments or send me a PM. Anyway, let's live out our courage and our strength by being grateful every day as a practice and by worshiping God. Have a good one.